You know, there's all this talk about Val Kilmer being a very difficult guy to work with. There's talk about him, how he fought with Joel Schumacher on the set of Batman Forever, and there's all the stories about him turning down roles. But what I'm happy to see is this documentary about his life. And not only that, but it's also home videos that Val Kilmer himself did. And that's all seen in the A24 Amazon Prime documentary film, Val. Yes, last year Val Kilmer released a documentary about his life, and to make it fun, it's narrated by his second child, Jack. Jack sounds exactly like his dad. He really does. In 2014, Val was on tour with his Mark Twain play, and then all of a sudden he couldn't talk. Then the doctor discovered he had throat cancer. Because of the operations, Val can barely talk. I mean, he can, but now he has to talk through a tracheotomy. So he has to, in the documentary you see, he goes, I have to plug this so I could talk, and when I let go, then I can catch my breath. It was sad seeing him like that. All the people that I've seen review Val's documentary, they were right. You do feel the emotion. When Val, there's a scene when when his family gather to say goodbye to his mother who died, and when he does say goodbye, he gets emotional, and you feel the emotion. You feel bad for Val. You just want to shake his hand and say, Val, my condolences to you, or Mr. Kilmer, I'm so sorry for your loss. And even when he's at Comic-Con and he's signing all these pictures of him, I understand where he's coming from. I would be personally, if I had cancer and I lost the ability to speak, and they had to, of course, but I feel that I feel the same way if I lost my ability to talk and people are saying, hey, could you sign this picture of you, and say it's a picture of me before I lost the ability to speak, yeah, I can see that be very tough for him to cope with and accept. And I agree with Val. I want to focus on Val as he is today. Sure, it's good to know what he did prior to his cancer, but it's also good to see what he's doing now. I'm not really surprised that Val Kilmer was a theater performer prior to his big break in Hollywood with Real Genius and Top Gun. And why would I say that? Because when I saw Val Kilmer in his movies, I've seen a couple of his films. I've seen, aside from Batman Forever and The Doors, I've seen Willow, I've seen Heat, Tombstone, Top Gun. Okay, I saw all of his most well-known films. It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, yeah, he did his Mark Twain play. I noticed he had that skill that a lot of actors in the theater, live theater, have. And, well, being that I'm a fan of the live theater, I've seen plenty of actors perform the same way as he did in the movies. What is it that theater actors have? It's just that feeling, that feeling of command and stage presence. That's what Val had, and this documentary shows footages of him on stage with, interestingly enough, Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon, and he and his class wrote a play. This was before he worked with Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon on the play. He made a play called How It Happened, and basically it was a play about terrorism, and it was a play with a strong message just as relevant as it is today in the 2020s. And just watching Val, I'm actually watching the documentary right now as I'm filming this, just watching him, just his movement, his body language, just whoa, and what he did on stage is pretty much the same as what he did in his movies.